Well, yeah, as you said, I'm Carolina Kuhneman.
And I am Cecilia. And we are the managing team of Translator Scandinavia, and we are based in Stockholm, Sweden. And we are here today to talk about our journey on becoming ISO certified to 9001. This is a very difficult thing to say. And also tell you about the impact it has had on our company.
And our goal is to inspire you if you are thinking about taking this step. This is a tool that can help you be more professional, work closer to customers and to employees as well. We think we will share also a couple of things that work well for us and that helped us as a small company become certified.
And how does this connect to the conference theme, you can ask? And I need to consult my notes now because I need to know what the theme of the conference is. It's the changing role of the human being in an AI-driven language service industry. Or, let me see the clicking. What happens when the robots take our jobs?
That's the question. And well, this robot won't take our jobs, but maybe another robot will. Of course, the language industry is not going to be what it is today, but things change all the time. Is there going to be a language industry? At least not in the way we know it.
No. And we also think that to be able to succeed in this landscape, you need to be able to evolve and to get better at everything what you do in every day.
Mm.
And in September 2018 we got certified to ISO 9001, and when we saw that and it's like falling in love with your company once again. It's been a very emotional trip for us, and when we saw that Gala wanted to look for speakers, and then we said, okay, let's hear them. Let them hear this love story. Yeah, that's the one.
Very short about us. As Cecilia said before, we are a company based in Stockholm, Sweden. What we do most is translations from and into the Nordic languages. We are 15 people in the company today. We've been around since 1993. We have approximately 250 customers every year. We work for example, for the European Union, for the postal services in Denmark and Sweden, and for leading IT companies. 50% of what we do is for other agencies, and then it's direct customers.
Yes, and Carolina and I have been working together for more than 20 years, and we really enjoy doing that, of course.
Still,
yes. So that's what. So the next step was then to tell you how about ISO. Is it really funny thing? Is it a love story to be able to work with ISO?
Yeah, because the truth is it wasn't. It didn't feel like that in the beginning. ISO for us was a very boring concept, waste of time. We associated these words to just boring stuff, repetitive tasks, checklists that never ended. And most of us, we couldn't see a relationship between all this extra work and better quality. Also because some of our customers and some of the companies we work for, they were certified, and we experienced that the output wasn't better just because they were certified. Mm.
Yes, and our company is also founded by a translator, a very good one. So, and as most of the translators, he is very solutions oriented and want to solve problems with the work. And so we are problem solvers. That's in our DNA. And so rethinking that is something we thought that ISO wouldn't help us with. So. Taking on challenges like 1 million words in a week, of course we can do that. Or bringing on a new technology, of course we can do that. Wouldn't ISO make us slower, or wouldn't it could we respond so quickly to this?
Yeah. Also, we believed for a long time that as ISO is it's based in from the manufacturing industry. Maybe it wasn't as important for us working in the service industry.
Yeah, and last but not least, isn't it very expensive, or it is very expensive to certify yourself or your company?
So that's us before, yeah.
But now we are passionate about this. It's like we said, it's like falling in love with the company again, and we sure want to share this story with you.
First, a few words about the ISO itself. Maybe a lot of you have experience about working in quality with ISO 9001. You do? Yeah, great. Okay, I hope I say everything well then. But it's basically, it is a quality standard that is used today for more than 1 million organizations around the world. So it's the most widely used management tool today. And it's based in the planned, do, check, act model, where in the planning stage you establish procedures and objectives to get to desired results. In the next step in the do, you actually do what you plan for. In the check phase, you go back to the do and see if the outcome of the do phase is the same as what you planned for. And in the next step in the act, you actually go back to your processes and see if they need improvement according to the data you got from the previous plans. So every time you start all over again, it should be a better baseline, so you will be better prepared for the next step. The good thing about this is that it's applied to all the processes of your company, also to the quality process itself, so things can only get better.
So, and where do you start? Basically, this is what we think that you should have in place before planning to become certified to ISO 9001. So we think you should get help, and to get the right help from a professional company. We found the perfect match with a small consultancy firm that helps companies with our size, from 5 to 50 employees, and they have a subscription-based system that they apply to give out to their sort of customers, and they help you set up all the tools that you need for this. And we wouldn't have been able to do it. But also, you also need to have the basic documentation in place, because we had all the stuff prepared, but we didn't know what to do with it. So have the documentation in place, and then keep going on that from that on. And then we also think that management needs to be trained, and they need to be trained by an ISO expert. And in the ISO standard, it's crucial to have an engaged management team, or the engaged management position, I would say. And they helped train us and engaged us in this procedure, so that we will be better. Yes, and now on our way to become certified, then these are the 10 steps that our consultancy firm thinks that you should have, and everything that is going to be. So basically the meetings we had with them were covering 1 or 2 steps of these, depending on on how much time we needed to do them. Of course, some of these took longer time. So we're going to briefly go through each of these steps now.
Yeah, it depended also on how much of the homework we did. We actually did between the meetings with the ISO consultants. But the first step is the process mapping, is where you visually describe the workflow of your company, where all the processes, the IT process, the order, quotations, marketing are described, and you visualize who and what is involved in the process. This is very useful. There you can see which processes can be improved, if there are areas that needs improvement. You can also use this as instructions to communicate in the company. You can also use this to help people communicate, the people working in the same process, so they know what they're talking about. If you have this in place, you have very good documentation of your processes, so you can go to next step and automate your processes. So it's a very important part of the work.
And it also took a very long time. And during the legal requirements, you go through all the documentations and see if your company is compliant with the local laws you have regarding time, work, whatever.
GDPR.
Yeah. GDPR, for instance, don't forget that. So, so due to this subscription-based system that we have with our consultant, then we can see and tick all the things that works for us. So that's very efficient.
Mm-hmm. In the third step, we looked very close at our competitors, other stakeholders, but also to the risk analysis. This last version of the 9001 standard puts a lot of attention on the risk analysis and the risk-based thinking, where you go through all the dangers that are outside there for a company, and you actually look at the factors that could affect your company. All the decision making is done around the risk analysis, and also many of our quality goals are set from the risk analysis work. So this was very important.
So then once we have done all the assessments, then we should work on our business plan, the policies and the goals. And we also worked on strategies and with visions, and decided which key figures to monitor on based on the analysis done during the third steps. So we updated policies, and then also noticed how the documents suddenly sort of were connected and that they made sense.
Yeah, and in the next step, we looked at how our organization was organized, actually. Who was doing that, what skills were available in the company and what skills were missing. The ISO requires roles, authorities, and responsibilities to be defined and documented, so we work a lot with that documentation.
And in the documentation management and procedure step, we worked a lot with the creation of and management of internal documents. Like we had before, we had done a lot of this work previously, but then we updated and we went through them once again. And this is also a very important step in the ISO 9001 text. What do you say? The framework of that one. And but we also notice now that when we go through it, that it's a very sort of old-fashioned way we're working on, so we are actually trying to move everything to the cloud.
Or to someone else's computer.
Yeah.
At this step, this is very important for us. As you all know, in our industry, we outsource so much of the work, but it's not always as easy for a smaller company to work with resource assessment and to work with their suppliers and do all that is required. So we put a lot of work on this, also on the contractual part of it, to see that we really had all the documents on all the NDAs, everything in place. So it's very, very good to do.
And customer satisfaction and deviation management, this is something that's really wonderful that we all work with. So what do your customer want from us? So what do they require? How can we engage with them? And how can we make sure that we deliver and match their expectations? And knowing your customers is also the key to keeping them and also getting new ones and evolving them as well. And the deviation management, it's when you report when something goes wrong, and then why does it go wrong, and you keep asking why until you have the answer to the why, all the whys you have. So, and that's very important to put your company into process. Yeah.
And almost in the end, it's the internal and external audit when people come onto your company and check if the company actually is doing what they say they do in the quality management system, but also if the quality management system is designed according to the requirements from the standard. And this wasn't a problem. This went well.
And then the last step is then how to sort of work according to the system. And then, so we have now a plan to do it, and we can work according to, we know how to get there and what tools we have and how to improve along the way.
What was the best thing about ISO for us? First is the deviation Can I get it?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. The deviation reporting online. We have our form for reporting anomalies and deviations in our intranet, and we encourage our people to, actually we do it every Monday, we encourage them to report every anomaly, every time things don't go as planned, and without any, not think about what went wrong, who did wrong, no, report everything, and then we will have data to follow where are problems, what's not working, and that's created a lot of engagement, but also that we are able to change goals, to follow up anomalies all the time. This has been the best quality tool we have. Yeah. Also, the ISO itself, because it's a tool that takes care of itself. It has given us a way of all the time monitor the performance of our processes in a very effective way. So it's great. And also it gave us a more professional structure. We've been a company, as Cecilia said, very focused on deliveries, and now we are working more on working more as a company and more professional. And you wonder why we didn't do this before. Well, we wondered this also, but it's because if you don't have to do it, you don't do it. Now we have an auditor coming once a year, and we do it.
So how long did it take then? The most time-consuming thing for us was actually the decision, since we've been working to and from 2006 and back to 2017. So either a very long time or not. But we actually started in November last year, November 2017, and then we had the meetings and everything turned during spring 2018, and then we had the audit in June 2018, and got a certificate in September, so 10 months.
And how much it cost? We put a lot of our own time on this. We estimate that we invested 200 hours each of our time. Also the time we spent with our team, doing checking procedures and processes, and also trying to engage them in the project. Then we bought 100 hours of ISO consultancy to go through all these steps, and we also paid for the templates and for the audits. And remember, this is Sweden. It costed us 20,000 euro for these three.
Yeah. So Carolina, do you think this was worth it? Was it worth all the time and the effort?
You know the answer. I'm a totally fan of this standard now. I think it has helped us develop enormously. We had our focus on deliveries. We shifted totally our focus to customer and employee satisfaction, and it's a world of difference. Also, we are in much more control of our company. We have now the tools to see what has happened, what's happening now, and what we think it will happen, and take decisions according to that. So decision making is much easier now.
Yeah, and we think we have happier employees too. We've made 2 employee surveys, and they show some areas where we need to improve. But overall they are very positive to the new way of working. Happier clients, we don't know that yet because, yes, we know. We have done one survey thank you, to check their happiness with us, but we are not sure how that result can be interpreted yet because it's a survey and we are thinking of other ways of monitoring their performance instead, or their happiness, so to say.
Yes, there were very low response to surveys these days. But we think this is a differentiator for our company. For a company our size, we work in a global market. Everyone can have a great website, and what does it mean? Who is serious? What do you mean about quality? I think you show a commitment to quality if you do this work and you get certified. And actually, we had 2 new customers who said that they valued that a company in our size invested in quality in this way. So we think it makes a difference. Yeah.
And so we think that we are ready for
the robots.
the robots, and we will adapt and adjust our processes and are ready for anything. So thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Cecilia, and thank you, Thank you, Karina, for that. I think, I'm in marketing, and I think that BSI should hire you to do that talk to their employees at the annual meetings, because this is the first time when I hear love and ISO, happiness. This is really heartwarming again. So what a day. So, any questions? Oh, here.
Hello, my name is Paulo from Brazil, and I would like to ask you, why did you choose ISO 9001 and 1700?
Okay, we prepared that question for Sabina, but she didn't sell that one. So no, the thing is that we think that 9001 is more flexible. 17100 is more focused on the translation process and not on the company itself.
I mean, we've been working to 7100 since 2006 because our biggest customer, the European Union, works that way. So it's no strange for us, and we'll probably get certified later. Yes, but this standard is a quality tool. The other one, it's more like a place where you can find definitions for our industry. Is wonderful also.
And it's a great standard, but it was not what we wanted.
No.
Okay, thank you. Another question?
Anita from Kaleidoscope and Eurocom. We know each other quite well, and I've just realized we went through the same certification process around exactly the same time. And I think you've already answered my question, but just to be sure, so you didn't have an assigned quality manager who you gave time. It was really the two of you. Then I would say congratulations. I don't know how you did it. Because what we actually did, and we went through the same steps. So I would also say get a consultant that you have no chance to go through this by yourself unless you want to, I don't know, despair. Yeah. And also to do it in 10 months is pretty amazing too, especially if you don't have a person. Yeah. But we actually assigned a quality manager who did probably for about the same amount of time, 30 hours a week, nothing but prepare us for the standard together with a consultant. So congratulations if the two of you did this on top of your workload. My question really is, how do you keep it alive? Because it's usually, you get the certification, you pass the audit, and then we found you fall into this trap of, oh, we've got it now. We can all breathe and start working on our day-to-day stuff again.
Yeah. But we like deadlines. Because we deliver when it comes to deadlines.
No, I think
that's our business. That's how we all work, right?
We have this company this ISO consultancy. I think it's a strength that they are outside our company. We pay them, so they have to deliver. So they contact us and they follow our work. So that's good. We have to do our homework. But also we have now in place these documents that for example, the deviation report. Now we have a structure that every time we have a group meeting, we have all the deviations reported and we go through them. And then someone has the task to take the next step. So, I mean, it's like this do, plan, check, act. It really works. If you have the right tools, I think that's what we got, these templates. They're good tools to make it alive.
Okay. Other questions?
Hello, hi. We definitely know each other. Also my company is certified since 2006 actually, and I'm also the QMS manager and the SMS manager, so I totally understand your pains in getting this running. How do you engage your team in using, for example, for the client, we call it the client complaints, how do you get them to register actually, to report to you?
Yeah.
Because my team is not happy, they don't want to tell me when things go wrong.
We are very sort of, we are in the middle of the production, so we hear things, so then we take them aside and sort of motivate them to do it. No, but it's actually a talk.
You're spying.
Yes, of course. No, but actually
Me too.
No, there are two things that are very important. It has to be very easy. We have in our intranet, the first thing you see is the link to the deviation report. And it's a beautiful document. You just write, you don't even know how to write your name because it's a form in Yammer, in Forms, I think, in Office 365. and you put what happened, and we every Monday in our Monday meeting we say, I usually say, I don't believe you are perfect, I love you anyway, I expect you at least to report one mistake, because come on, something has to happen. So we expect them to deliver anomaly reports, otherwise it's not good.
And also a lot of the times when they come to me or Carolina and to ask, what do you think I should do, or is this something that should have been done different? I'd say, okay, let's report this, because this will make us better. It's not only you that have this problem, probably a lot the others also. So sort of encourage them, and I mean, we do a lot of the deviation reporting as well, but then it's together with the team. So they don't stand there with their thought, but it's
and they don't feel like they're reporting things they've done wrong. No. They feel like they're reporting problems with the system and the processes. So if they are, for example, if they delivered late and they write because I didn't have time, then we have a problem in the company because people is having too much to do. So the focus is not on what they do wrong. The focus is in, please report so we can be better.
And it's not a blame thing.
No.
Any other questions? Okay. Oh, perfect.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you for your story. It was very inspiring.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you think this will help you securing new clients or bigger clients, because it's requirement from their legal team to use certified vendors.
Yeah. Well, we only been certified for a short time, so I don't have any data about it. But as I said, we have 2 customers that was a smaller tender procedures, private companies that they really valued. They chose us instead of choosing another player much bigger, because they valued the thing that we were smaller, but at the same time very quality oriented. So I hope so. And then it's all the medical sector, where sometimes in the past we had problems to working for these companies because we weren't certified. So yeah.
So we'll see. In a few years we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Zofia. Yeah. You have 3 minutes, and then we have the next speaker.
Oh yes.
So you mentioned the time factor, and it sounds like there's a lot of extra documentation and extra checks. So do you find that following the certification with the same number of people and the same amount of projects, everything can still be completed, and all the requirements of the ISO standard as well? Or?
Well,
we
yes.
we don't do checklists.
No, we don't do checklists. I mean, that's the beauty of the ISO 9001 to 2015 compared to the previous versions of the standard. This is a very flexible standard, and as long as you can show to the auditors that no, this is working, and we have, instead of checklists, we have instructions, and we have follow-ups, and we have other ways of checking that we work according to our processes than checklists, because I think checklists, they don't add anything. You know, I've seen people, filling in the end. No, we don't believe in that, no. So we don't have, no.
No, so the ISO consultant actually tried to convince us that we should have checklists, and we were like, no. So
no.
Great. Any other question? Okay, so I have one technical question. Because this is that I remember from when we were acquiring the ISO certification, we also set up a KPI that our quality would be like 96.7%. So then there's a problem when you have those deviation reports. How do you manage that during the audit?
No, because it's the same. As long as you define which, exactly what the kind of deviations you're gonna, and in which way, and that's okay. I mean, the standard has to reflect the way your company works, not the way you want it to work. So, but for example, we decide which parts of the customer survey we're going to follow and compare to the next year. We decide how we measure late deliveries, for example. So you have to define your own. But I think a lot they value the that there are a lot of deviations. I mean, the organization who audit us, they thought it was a positive thing. I think it's a quality thinking. I mean, we're not perfect.
Thank you, but that was a perfect presentation. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for that.
Thank you.